Hi, parents. It's Robbin McManne here. Do your kids have tantrums and meltdowns and displays of intense emotion? Sometimes these meltdowns or tantrums last many minutes, maybe even an hour or more. I have experienced that myself with my kids and witnessed them in this turmoil. And I know it's no joke. And it's a really hard thing to manage as a parent. Well, in this video, I'm going to give you strategies on how to stop a meltdown before it even starts, how to handle a meltdown, and really what your kids need in order for them to get through a meltdown a lot faster. If you're here, I want to just say thank you for being here. And if you're looking for modern parenting strategies for today's complicated and ever changing world, you're in the right place. My channel, Parenting for Connection, is all about that. I have a library of videos that you can access that talk about many different topics in parenting, all on the subject of peaceful parenting. That doesn't mean that we let our kids run the show. It means that we hold boundaries for our children, but they're not held with punishments and timeouts and taking things away and harshness. They're held with communication, with empathy, but they're still held. It's okay to say no to your kids. It's okay to hold that boundary for them because they need us to. And so my videos are all about that, as is my podcast, Parenting for Connection. You'll see the video version of my podcast here as well. And you can, of course, always listen to it on any podcast platform. Parenting Our Future is the name of my podcast. And on that podcast, I invite guests from all over the parenting space to join me. And so if you are a parent and you have kids, you have faced a meltdown with your kids, and they are no joke. And so I want to talk to you about one of my clients, Erin, who has two girls, and one of her girls, her older daughter, was around 5 years old when we first started working together, she was really frustrated because her daughter had such frequent and massive meltdowns that the neighbors could hear. And she was so embarrassed and so frustrated by them. And she was worried that maybe one day somebody would call family services because her daughter wouldn't stop. And of course, no harm was coming to her daughter at all, but Erin didn't know what to do. And in fact, these meltdowns are one of the first behaviors that we face as parents, as we're new parents, and we don't really know how to handle them for our kids and for us too, because sometimes we get caught up having our own meltdown. So when I worked with Erin and helped her through the emotions that her child was wrapped up in and explained to her what was going on in her child's brain and what she really needed, and also what she was trying to tell her through these meltdowns, she sent me this message when I checked up on her not too long ago. She said, Ava is getting better with regulating her emotions. And I apply what I learned from your course quite often, using empathy a lot with Brooke lately. That's her younger daughter, because she's having more tantrums as she's grown more independent now that she's almost 3. So you can see that the work that I did with her not only helped her oldest daughter, but as her younger daughter started to come into those meltdown years, she was able to use the exact same tools for her younger daughter as well. So she can have a meltdown free or close to a meltdown free home. And this video is going to do that for you too. Meltdowns really come from a place where your child is so full and overwhelmed by emotions, but they don't know what to do with them. Remember, when our kids are young, they feel their feelings in a big way, and they're not afraid to show their feelings, and they have to feel their feelings all the way through in order to get over it. And what happens is that unfortunately, because our kids do not have a fully grown brain, fully developed brain that gives them the ability to emotionally regulate, they need to feel it. And the problem with that is that they don't know how to deal with their emotions. They don't know how to understand them, and they can't articulate them yet. It's important for you to know that they will be able to do it soon. And so therefore, this behavior is temporary. But on that note, when I say this behavior, what I want you to know that meltdowns are emotions out of control. They are not behavior. Such an important point to make. And as we dive into this subject, it's really important that you know meltdowns are not behavior. Therefore, you don't need punishments to correct them. You don't need to send your child into a timeout. You don't need to take something away from them. They aren't pitching a fit or trying to drive you crazy. They're just feeling their feelings that they don't understand what to do with. And the second thing that I want you to know is that when your child has a meltdown, it's not an emergency. And what I mean by that is you can take a moment to calm yourself down and get yourself into regulation. Because when our kids start to cry and scream and get upset, we often will want to do the same thing, but that doesn't help the situation. We need to be calm. We need to be centered. And look, this is not about perfection. So sometimes we're really good at this and sometimes we're not as good at it. And that's okay. We just want to be the best that we can be in this moment. So when it comes to a meltdown, I always say that an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. So what we want to do first is to try to avoid the meltdown. Let's try to stop it before it gets to that place. And usually there are cues and signals and different things that our child is showing us, but we may miss out on those because we're busy, because we have other kids, because we're paying attention to something else. It makes sense. But if we can pick up on those signals ahead of time, then we're going to be in a much better place to meet our kids' needs and address their feelings before it gets to the point where they have a massive meltdown. Now, this video is all about how to predict behavior and get ahead of behavior. You're going to want to watch this video, which I'll put at the end of this video so you have access to this right away. But this is one of the videos that you will love because it's really going to help you manage your child's behavior. What our kids really need is empathy. Empathy is us just putting ourselves in our kids' shoes and seeing the situation the way they do, whether we like it or not, whether we agree or not, whether we think it's stupid or not, what they're upset about. For real. What I want you to know is that our toddlers and our kids, when they're young, they build up stress hormones as they cope with the challenges of daily life. And the brain is there to allow them to express these emotions verbally, but that prefrontal cortex in the brain isn't fully developed, so they don't come with that emotional regulation. This means that toddlers can experience intense emotion, but they don't have the ability to verbalize it or deal with it. And Mother Nature has really designed this foolproof method of relieving the stress and the pressure, which is a down. I want you to know that our kids don't enjoy tantrums. They don't want to throw a tantrum any more than you want to tolerate one. But tantrums are really outside of our kids' conscious control. And again, this comes to the fact that they're overwhelmed with emotions and they don't know how to deal with them, understand them, or articulate them. I repeat that statement a lot in my videos because it is so important for you to understand that our kids really, if they could do better, they would do better. But because they don't have the brain capacity, they're not able to. And so we just need to accept it. And when your child is in the midst of a meltdown, one of the most powerful things that you can do is just accept it. We're giving them empathy. We are saying, okay, even if I don't agree, if I was looking at the situation from your shoes, I could see how upset it would be that I didn't get a lollipop when I really wanted one. And acceptance is, well, you need to cry about it. I can accept that you need to feel your feelings about it. And again, even if I don't agree, even if I think it's dumb, even if I think this is ridiculous, it's not about me, right? It's not about us. So we want to just be there to accept that this is happening. Accept your child just as they are in this moment. And your energy of acceptance, when you embody the acceptance in your words, in your actions, and in your energy, your child will feel the difference. And just you saying words, minimal words like, it's okay if you need to cry. Yeah, you're upset right now. I get it. If you want to stay with me and you want to cry with me, that's okay. So you are just accepting them and giving them that space to feel their feelings. Because as we know, our kids need to feel their feelings all the way through. And it's us who have lost our ability to really understand what that feels like or what that is like because we have emotional regulation. One thing that I want to address is what we say when there is a meltdown. I want you to know that sometimes words aren't needed and there's time for words later. I want you to use as few words as you can because those words will get through. But if you talk too much, our kids just can't hear us. Their brains are offline. They can't hear us. They can't learn. They can't listen. And so that might make you frustrated. And I don't want you to get any more frustrated. It's hard enough to have your child have a meltdown. So just show up with that energy of acceptance and embodying empathy, and that will really help. If you do use words and you do want to talk to your child, maybe they're just upset, maybe they aren't in a full blown meltdown, or maybe just before a meltdown, you think, okay, they're upset about something. And if I just say, oh, don't worry about it, or forget about it, or dismiss them in some way, it's going to lead to a meltdown. And so, one of the things that you can do is validate their emotions. And there is a formula that I like to use. It is acknowledge the feeling and then give them 2 to 3 reasons why. It's right here. So, you must be feeling frustrated because you had to leave the party early, because you don't want to miss out on fun, and because you didn't want to be the first one to go. That makes sense. What you're doing here is you're telling your child that not only that you see their feeling, you're validating their feeling, and you're telling them why you think they're feeling that way. It's normalizing the emotion. And this is the start of emotional intelligence. This is the start of how we grow it. And when we can connect with our child on this level by acknowledging and validating the feeling that they're feeling, we can't change it. We may as well validate it. We may as well acknowledge it. And validating it, acknowledging it doesn't mean you're saying, yeah, it's okay. Feel as entitled as you want, feel as wild as you want. No, we're just saying, look, you're human. You have feelings about things. I have feelings about things. And I'm telling you what I see you're feeling. And then you say 2 to 3 reasons why. And the reason why you do is so that they know that you get them. When was the last time you felt somebody got you? Like really got you? Probably they used empathy. They probably used a similar formula like this without even knowing it. I remember I had a really bad day not too long ago, like a really rough day. And my husband knew that I wasn't happy. And he said, hey, like, what's wrong? And I said, this happened, and this happened, and this happened, this happened. And all he said to me is, oh, that is hard. And I was like a puddle. I was like putting in his hands. I was like, oh, yes, you get it. It is hard. He didn't try to change it. He didn't agree or disagree with me. He just said that is hard. And that is a gift that I want you to give your kids. And the bonus is you can use it on your spouse. You can use it on your friends, on your coworkers, anybody. It's really a powerful way of communicating with people and really trying to understand them. Now, you can validate your child's emotion, give them 2 to 3 reasons why, and say, do I have that right? And just that connection is going to create a shift. Now, your child might need to be just a little older for them to really get that. And that's okay. Keep trying it. Keep trying it until it works, because it really, really works. And this is something you can use with your teenagers too, all throughout your parenting. This is one of those strategies that we use that works with anybody. And it creates a powerful shift. And you'll actually see the other person's body relax, just like I did when my husband said, yeah, that is hard. It's like, yeah. And that's really what you're looking for, is the yeah. So let's dive into some of the quick tips that I have for you on how to really manage that meltdown in the moment. One is hugs, like deep pressure, really squeezy tight hugs. What they do is they help to calm the nervous system down. It's that pressure, it's that sensory system that we're activating here. And that can really, really help with your child. Even things like heavy work, carrying something heavy will also really help. I went to see an occupational therapist that used to work in the school system here. And he said that what he would do is when he had a child that was dysregulated and was having a meltdown, he would say, actually, you know what? Can you go to the office and get that bin that I have and bring it to the classroom? And this bin was like a Rubbermaid tote or box, and it was just full of heavy stuff. And what he would do is he would ask the kids who were dysregulated to go and get that. And that act of going, walking to go and get it, and then carrying the heavy item was actually really calming to their nervous system as well. So that's something that you can think of doing. And so, one thing that goes along with that is exercise. What exercise does is it jolts our kids out of the brain, the part of the brain that they're stuck in when they're in their emotional brain. And so, exercise can get them out of it. And you can do things like jumping jacks, you can do frog jumps, you can run on the spot, you can do all different things to get them out of that mode of being really emotional. And speaking of the brain, when they are stuck in that part of the brain that they're in, one of the things that you can do to jolt them out of this is quick, make a list of your 5 favorite friends. Quick, make a list of your 5 favorite shows. Okay, I'm thinking of my 5 best friends. Who are your 5 best friends? I'm thinking of my 5 favorite colors. What are your 5 favorite colors? Do that to engage their brain and snap them out of it. Now, I talked about the sensory system, and there are some parts of our sensory system that can really, really help. And this part of our jaw is what activates the proprioceptive sense, which helps to calm us down. So if you see people who bite on their pencils or their pens, they're actually organizing their brain. That's why they chew on them, because this part of the brain is the proprioceptive sense. So what you can do is give your child some, like a juice box, and sip through a straw. That is really helpful. Give them something crunchy or chewy to eat. That will help them to organize their brain and take advantage of their senses, their sensory senses. The other thing that you can do is give them a piece of gum. If your child is old enough, you can give them a piece of gum as well. Now, something else you can use is music. It can be soft music, it can be loud music, whatever works for your child. Maybe they're to be yelly and shouty, and they need to get that out in a song that works for them. Maybe you can ask them, hey, when you're really upset, what do you want to listen to? What would help? And when they are upset, that's what you have at your disposal to help them to manage it. Another thing is time in. And that's really what I was explaining when I was talking about accepting and empathy and showing up with the energy of acceptance. That time in means that you're bringing your child close to you instead of a timeout where you're pushing them away from you. You're saying that you are loved and lovable even when you have big emotions. And the next thing I want to talk about is breathing. Deep, slow belly breaths. And I love it if you can practice with your child before they have a meltdown. And one of the things that you can do is have them lay down flat and put a stuffed animal on their tummy. And what you can ask them to do is get them to raise and lower the stuffed animal on their tummy, because that is where deep breaths are. If they were to put it up here on their chest, that would be more shallow breathing. So we want it to be on their tummy so they can practice the deep breathing. It's something I used to do with my kids every time they came home from school to just get everybody feeling good and regulated. And so I encourage you to do that too. The more you practice this with your kids, the more they will have access to it when they really need it. And this is really a life strategy. This is something we can use for our entire lives. And on that note, you want to be using these deep belly breaths too, because our kids co-regulate off of us, which means that if we are showing up frantic, our kids are going to show up frantic as well. They have mirror neurons in their brain, which mirrors what we're doing. And so when you show up to that meltdown, which isn't an emergency, give yourself that time to regulate yourself, to calm yourself down and breathe deeply and slowly while you are trying to help your child. And just remember that meltdowns are emotions out of control. They are not behavior. Your child doesn't want to have this meltdown. It doesn't feel good to them. They aren't trying to upset you or embarrass you. They're just being kids who don't have any other way of expressing what they're feeling and going through other than through a meltdown. So I just want to say that if you would like a handout all on how to manage meltdowns with this information and so much more, you can actually download it from the Parent Toolbox. The Parent Toolbox is actually the companion site to my podcast, Parenting Our Future. And you can go there and download this meltdown handout and over 100 more. I talk about things from reframing your child's behavior to what to do in the face of a meltdown, to planning healthy meals, to helping your child if they have ADHD or if they're picky eaters. I have so many different handouts in the Parent Toolbox, and they are all free. All you have to do is go to parent-toolbox.com and you can become a member for free. And every week, the toolbox is updated with a brand new resource. So please go there and download this resource so you have this at your fingertips, because I know what it's like to have the best intentions. And then when you're faced with the actual behavior, you forget everything. And I don't want that for you. So this is something you could post up in the place where the meltdowns happen the most. For me, it was always the kitchen, or it's just something that you can have on your phone and just read it if you aren't sure exactly what to do in this moment. It's going to really help you. And it goes over all of the different tips that I talked about here. And really, at the end of the day, I want you to see meltdowns and tantrums as your opportunity to connect with your child, to get to know them better, to really be able to build your relationship with your child. Because when you can meet the needs of your child, their core basic human needs, not just my need for a lollipop or my need for a balloon, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about core basic human needs like empathy and connection and unconditional love. Those are our child's core basic human needs. And when we meet those needs, we are able to have a child that isn't anxious, isn't as defiant, will listen to us, will cooperate, and is easier to parent. And that's really what we all want. And you can do this in a way that's peaceful and it works. So thank you so much for being here. And if you're a parent that does have some struggles in your parenting, please know that you're not alone. Please know that it's okay to ask for help. And that's what I'm here to do, is to help you and guide you and talk to you about what it is you're going through and if I can help you. I have a program that will help you to get through the hardest parts of parenting and the everyday parts of parenting. And so if you'd like to know more about what I do, the work that I do, I would love for you to book a call with me. You can book a call with me. If you look in the description below, you'll see a link to a one-on-one call with me, and we'll talk about what's going on in your parenting and how I can help. Thanks again for being here. Please don't forget to subscribe, and I'm going to see you in my next video. Thanks so much, everybody.